Good day, ma'am. I'm Bagayog Arjit Kanyada. I'll discuss about the role of law in West Philippines Sea dispute. Introduction. The Philippines has wisely chosen to bring its maritime dispute with China to forum where warship fighter planes and missiles do not count, eliminating the military advantage of China and ensuring that the outcomes of the dispute will be decided only in accordance with the rule of law. It was a wise decision, but one born out of necessity because it was actually the only viable option open the Philippines. We have to admit that as nation, we have neglected to maintain a credible self-defense force, particularly in our naval assets dispute or being an archipelagic country with extensive coastline and vast is. We are paying dearly for this neglect by losing Mayship Reef in 1995, Scarborough Shoal in 2012, most likely Ayungin Shoal in the near future, to remain a sovereign and dependent nation, to maintain our territorial integrity, to avoid further humiliation, and to maintain our self-respect as a nation. We have also understand that the maritime and territorial dispute with China in the West Philippine Sea is an intergenerational struggle to maintain our sovereignty and territorial integrity. Our generation may win the legal battle in unclosed arbitration case, but for sure China will not simply abandon its massive structure in Mayship Reef or withdraw its surveillance vessels in Scarborough Shoal. The West Philippine Sea dispute can and must be resolved through the rule of law. It is the only fair, just, and durable solution to a situations where the opposing states are vastly unequal in terms of military, economic, and political strength. Any resolution of the dispute outside of the rule PF law will only result in unequal treaties and plants the seeds of conflict for future generations. The rule of law in the West Philippine Sea dispute is unclosed. All the claimant state to the dispute, one parties to unclose and are bound to comply with their treaty obligations under UNCLOS in good faith. If the West Philippine Sea dispute is settled in accordance with UNCLOS, then the world can be assured that there will be a just, permanent, and lasting peace in the West Philippines. Background of the topic. It is the part of the municipality of Mosinloc, province of Zambales. It is located 1 to 4 nautical miles west of Zambales and is within the 200 nautical miles exclusive economic zone and Philippines continental shelf. Because to provide the ecosystem in which thousands of species thrive and also protect the land from the impact of wave storms and flood for the Philippines, the maritime entailment of coastal state, the territorial sea, exclusive economic zone, and continental shelf. The right and obligation of the state parties within this respective zone are established, defined, and limited by the express terms of the convention. Philippines-China relations have lately been dominated by the territorial dispute in the West Philippine Sea. West has escalated since the naval standoff over the Scarborough Shoal in April 2017 and aggravated by issue of establishment of infrastructure and incident of precedent. China has claimed historic rights in areas that are beyond 200 miles from its mainland coast or any land features over which it claims sovereignty, and within 200 miles of the coast of the Philippines main island, and exploited the resources in their areas while preventing the Philippines from doing so. The tribunal found that China violated the Philippine sovereign right to the living resources of its EEZ, particularly promulgating its 2012 moratorium on fishing in the South China Sea without exception for areas of the South China Sea falling within exclusive economic zone of the Philippines and without the rule of law in the West Philippine Sea. Dispute is unclosed because all the claimants state to the dispute are the parties to UNCLOS and are bound to comply with their treaty obligation under UNCLOS in good faith. On 22 January 2013, the Philippines instituted arbitral proceedings against China in dispute concerning their respective maritime entitlement and the legality of Chinese activities in the South China Sea. Is a procedure in which a dispute is submitted by agreement of the parties to one or more arbitrator who make a binding decision on the dispute. Reference: Globe 2017, The Rule of Law and the UN Peace Building Commission. A Social Development Approach, Cambridge Review of International Affairs, number 14767.